Hello and welcome to today's session. Thank you for joining. So I did do an earlier session, got a bit confused with the daylight savings changes. As always, every time around this year we, jump around a little bit depending on where you are in the world. And I was on a bit early. So what we're seeing right now though, I've got a 25k Apex Trader funding if you want to jump on and follow along. Links in the description. You can get 80% off with the link that I've got, or use code GFT for Global Finance Trading. What we can see right now, we're starting to get some proper volume back in the market. So that 3-week period where the UK, the German session didn't really have the volume that we need to kind of make decisions, that seems to be back already in pre-market. So that's a great sign. We've got 44 contracts down here. Basically the market came right down, hit that, and then rejected off for, probably about 7 odd points. Getting a lot more volume coming in now, 5 minutes into, before, to the pre-market, to the opening session. So really good amounts of volume. It's like the market or the participants are back. So hopefully we'll get a bit more volatility at the open so I can show you how I normally trade, because the last few weeks it's been good. I think I'll have a look at my other account. It's actually not too bad. I'll just see what I made for the month so far. So I'm just going to pull up the dates. I've got sort of 5 minutes. Just go last month. We'll go from the 1st of October. So yeah, on this account I made, $1,088 profit. There was $40 of swap. So this one charges through the nose on the swap, which is a bit rough. But yeah, $40. I'm not even holding positions. I sort of held over the weekend for one trade and then 3 other trades just overnight. So $40 of swap there. But for $1,088 total profit on that account, I'm pretty happy. It's quite good. So I do have an Apex account now. It's a 25k, so 2.5k is the target. I think I've got 1,500 on the other side. I'm not too sure about that actually. Just let me check on that. So we've got 3 minutes to open. Got a lot more volume coming in, so it's come up. It's hit a wall, so that looks like a bid, an ask side limit order, which is good to push the market down, hopefully targeting this previous day's high and the close. Just going to move these back out of the way because I keep moving the chart around. Now, what I'm looking for at the open is, we want some volatility into any of the levels. It doesn't really matter too much, and then we're going to watch the order flow to see what the reaction is. If there's no reaction, effectively we ignore the level, because what I'm looking for is ultimately for the market to come down, fill these gaps, which is this red line here, and the grey line down further. So that's the extreme gap, that's the close gap. Ultimately the market usually fills all gaps to create an efficient market. Got 2 minutes till open, and I'll be looking, from here. I don't necessarily want to target the high or the close, because our stops, it's just a bit messy. So if we go short on the market, we've got to get through the breakout long and the R1, and then just to the high. We might even reject off the high, so we may not fill both gaps. So the reason I don't want to get short is because predominantly the DAX has a long bias, and I'll just show you what happened. So I bought Friday up here, just above that extreme gap. Now it did come right down. It was about 90 points almost of heat. But then look at that. It opened this morning and it gapped up. So there's 170 points. I got out for 120 points, so I missed out on about 50 points there, but I closed it. I thought, you know what, that's pretty good. And I think there was a couple of $100 in it. So not too bad. And that was only on one contract, so one volume on the DE30 on that brokerage account. with 30 seconds from opening, I can use up to 4 contracts. I just want to quickly check what rules I can play with on this account. So it's a 50k. No, it's a 25k, I should say. So profit goal is 1500. Trailing threshold is 1500 as well. Got 10 seconds till open. Anyway, we'll have a look at that later. So, look, I'm tempted to maybe look for a buy if the market starts pushing up. Look, I'm in for 1 contract just on the minis. I'll try and jump out if I can. It looks like a bit of a false kind of up. Alright, so we're in profit now, so I made $5. Probably should have held on to that. I think we'll pull back a little bit and then I'll try and get back in. So I missed that move. That's okay though. Well, that's quite a good move. So I'm in again. Look, I just want to take a bit of an impulsive move up, hopefully to the R3, tap into that bias long, and see if we can get a good move up. So what I'm trading is the FDX, which is the FDAX Micro. Now super small, and then we've got the Mini DAX on the order flow, as well as the full contracts. So it just gives me an idea of what's going on in the market, what people are thinking in a centralized exchange. So it tells me all the information, contracts in, contracts out, and then that allows me to make better decisions. So I'm out of that one now, so $13 up. Potentially we might reject off this R2 level. I think we're going to get a bit of resistance here, hopefully, and then we'll start heading towards that previous day's high. So if we're looking at $1,500 as a target, let's say 20 days, if I make $75 per trading day over 20 days, let's say I just set that as a target, then that would see me past. So I'd be able to actually pass the account on that. Let's say that multiplied by 20 accounts, that'd be say $1,500 a day if I could do that consistently, all 25k accounts. And then times that by 20, that's 30k a month. And that's just on the smallest account, so the 25k account. So $75 a day. If I can repeat this process, let's see if I can just get to that point, and we'll look for another opportunity. So the market's basically just hovering around. Look, I'm tempted to short from here. We'll see if the market can pull back a little bit. We'll make a little bit more money here, hopefully. And I might even try and scale in if I can. That's 50 contracts there. That's I'm going to get out. Something's happening. So 50 contracts just pulled up in there. That's yeah, something's happening here. Is that an aggressive buy order? I'm not too sure if you can actually aggressively buy 51 contracts all in one hit. So is that maybe a sell limit that's down low? It's in a very strange position. So it's a bit hard to tell whether that's a buy or a sell. It's just waiting that out. I want to see a proper indication on perhaps a different level, because that's very centralized. It's very much in the middle, and I'm not too sure what that actually means. So I'm just waiting the market out for the moment. So it is pushing down, so perhaps that was a sell limit just down low. Somebody looking to target perhaps the previous day's high or the close gap as well. Here we go, so it's starting to see if we can get down below this level. Doesn't seem to be falling too quickly. Just got to see what the market gives us here. 13, that could be selling by the looks. Obviously we've moved down now, so that's aggressive selling, I would say. 13 contracts, it's within reason. We'll see if we can get down and hit this previous day's high at the very least. If we can get a bit lower into a better position, I will be probably looking to buy. Obviously on indication that the market is going to respect this level. So I'm tempted to get in long here even, because we've got some what looks like buying here as well. Just wait it out a little bit longer. Okay, if we can get some sort of indication that we'll turn around. Just need to really go down and hit this gap. I don't want to get in from here, but it looks like it's maybe going to respect the level. What's this down here as well? So we've got 34 contracts. Look, I'm just going to buy. So 34 contracts on the FDAX Mini, and the market's respecting it. We didn't really have any indication other than perhaps the buy limits that that reaction was going to happen. Look, it might be over already. Somebody's kind of, one of the big players has just swooped in and offloaded a bit of money there, so good for them, but it hasn't stuck. So see that 34 contract, really quite a large, looks like a buy at market kind of a situation, and the market's jumped around a little. We'll see if we can let it go a little higher. But at the moment, I guess in between the current price and say like this level here, we're very much in the middle of nowhere. There's not a real clear plan as to what direction the market might or should go. I'd like the market to go a little bit lower before I start buying in any heavier. So yes, I am in long right now, but ultimately I want the market to drop a little further. So there's a bit more reason and a bit more protection on the risk-reward ratio as well. There's a couple more orders there. That looks like, yeah, aggressive buying on that price point there, I think. Just really want to see if we can get a little bit lower before we start buying. Now, my target for today, as I mentioned earlier, so if I can hit 75 USD per day across 20 accounts, 20 days, if I can do that consistently, that ends up being about 30k per month. So I'm just going to target that. I'm going to trade till I sort of either go back to zero or hit that 75. Hi Christopher, thank you for jumping on again. It's great to see you back. Now, you might have seen the volumes are much bigger all of a sudden. So the volumes, we've got 40 contracts down here, we've got 19s and 20s. We weren't seeing that before. So it's really good to see a proper volume coming in, had a bit more movement. I guess we're 9 minutes in now, but still more movement than previously. So it's really good to see that. this amount of volume, it's really hovering here. Is it trying to soak people up to buying before it comes down and hits this previous day's high and close? I'm not sure. But ultimately, I'm getting very tempted to buy in. This does form a really strong target though, so getting in and expecting that not to get hit is a bit of a fool's errand. So I just want to wait, see if there's a bit more indication as to whether we're going up or not. And if we come down and touch this previous day's high, then I will be looking to potentially get in again. Now I've got a $1,500 limit on this account, so that's the max daily drawdown, I think it is. So as long as I stay within that, 13, that looks like buy orders for some reason. We're not quite, we haven't filled that gap yet. I'll just check how far away we are off that gap. Still about 10 points. Look, some people might call that close enough, so people are just front running the gap at quite a distance, but it should pop down and sort of collect the rest of the orders, and then I'm going to look to buy. It just looks like the market's expecting this to start turning around, with full expectation that we could go all the way down to this breakout short in S1, so just be aware of that as well. So we're gonna, is that the reaction? There's a couple of buyers coming in. That looks like a buy limit potentially. We've touched the gap basically, so that extreme gap is now filled. Whoops. Okay, so I'm in for 2 contracts now. I can get in for 4 as a total. I'm going to see if we'll come down and hit this close. That's 30 odd points away. So as long as I stay within my limit, I'm going to basically look for I'm going to take the buy only approach today at least, and see if we can get a good entry to just hold for the rest of the day and sort of close it off towards the end of the session, or once we've got some good profit on the table. So yeah, targeting $75 for today. I think we'll probably now, just based on this candle, we'll probably come down and at least hit this close gap. We could turn around here, but it's just doesn't quite make sense. It's very thin unless we see a change in the order flow. So it's kind of just toying around. That looks like aggressive selling coming in, I'm hoping. Otherwise so on the bid side, we've got the buyers limit orders, and then aggressive buying on the ask side, and then inverse as well. So we've just got to take note that can be buys, it can be sells on bid orders and ask orders. So 17 contracts up here, that could be a combination of 17 both buyers and sellers. So you might have 10 buyers on the 17 and 7 sellers. You've got to try and decrypt what the market is thinking and who's placing those orders, because it's not as cut and dry as bids are buyers and asks are sells, or vice versa. So the market's kind of hovering around this extreme gap. I am hoping that we'll come down and touch this close, because I want to put more volume into the market and try and hit that $75 target, because that, in turn, if I can do that across 20 accounts, get it consistent, that's $30K per month if I can do it every day for 20 days. $75, it's not a ridiculous target, but when you start stacking the accounts, it ends up being quite a lot. So that's going to be my goal for this account. If I can do that, I'll be very happy. It looks like aggressive selling, hopefully, so people tap in that bid side at market, hopefully pushing that level down, but we are respecting at the moment the previous day's high, So maybe people are saying, right, that's the extreme gap filled, that's enough, and then moving on to the buy part of the session. So it's really, I guess this part of the trading is just really about being patient, waiting for the market to get into position before you can actually do anything about it. Because in the middle of nowhere, if you trade in the middle of nowhere, I guess your stops are bigger, and you've got to, I guess, be patient with money in the market. Whereas if you just wait for the right setup, we'll see what happens. We've got a new candle, so it's a 15-minute. If you just wait for the right setup, you can have a bit more patience with it and take a lot less heat. But sometimes on the flip side, you do miss some entries, and that's okay. Sometimes it's better to wait and not be in the market and just wait for those really powerful setups that you can really see and get behind and have confidence in. Now, this does kind of look like it's starting to build, so maybe some limit orders and then followed by aggressive buys on the ask side. But we'd need a bit more indication to, I guess, agree with that. So right now it's a battle between who wants to fill this gap and who wants the market to go up. So this might take a little bit to actually fulfill. I'm just going to quickly go and have a look at the multiple time frame analysis. So very high on the historic. So these are all-time highs up here. We're kind of at the high end of the upper wick of all of these candles. We've had a stellar run. We're going to close probably halfway in between for this month. On the daily, it looks like, yeah, we should probably fill that gap. We're really gapped up. So if we come down, fill the gap, and then I guess it kind of looks like a bit of a V recovery. On the 4 hour, nothing too much there either. Look, it looks like it probably should come back within the normal trading area, which indicates that we're probably coming down a bit further. On the 1 hour, again, nothing too much there. 30-minute, very similar. 15-minute. We're still forming a new candle, so it's like the market's deciding what to do, where to go. Look, it's sort of building, but just remembering we've got this 4 hour kind of activity where it looks like we should be trading within this region. So if we come back up higher, the market's not really respecting that or the close gap. So I've got 2 contracts long at the moment, but I want to add maybe a couple more if we come a bit lower down to this close gap. So if we fill the gap, I will be looking to get long off that, if the order flow tells me so. And also we've just got to consider the breakout short and the S1 down lower. So we'll see if we can, look, 27 contracts, that looks like aggressive selling to me. So I don't want to get on the wrong side of that. Just got to wait and see really. And remember guys, your support, your likes on the video, if it is helpful, I do appreciate your likes when you come and watch these sessions. I know sometimes if the market's not moving much, it's a bit of a boring session, so I try to make it as, I guess, enjoyable as possible. I talk through what's going on, what I'm thinking, as well as, I guess, bits and pieces around the market and what you might expect. So it's really just forming a position at the moment. It's not really doing too much at all. We need it to break this little structure so we can actually make a decision. On this basis, this is where, I guess, amateur traders will often get quite frustrated. They'll buy, it'll come down, it'll tap them if they've got a really tight stop. Then it'll start looking like it's going to do the other thing. So it's really about building that evidence and figuring out what the market is likely to do, where a good stop loss would be. So like a stop loss here is not wise simply because we've got the close gap right there. And often the market does come down and hit the pivot. We've also got the breakout short and the S1 down here, and it's quite tight and close together. So look, as for a stop, I'd probably want it way down here. So the risk reward on getting in too heavy is not really there. So I'm only in 2 micro DAX contracts, so it's about $2 a point per contract, I think, or is it $1 a point? So I think it's $1 a point, thereabouts. We may have a reaction here. Really need some momentum to kick in. So we had some really good volume back here at the open, or in the pre-market I should say, and now it's sort of folded away. So we've filled the gap like I expected. However, we've kind of lost a bit of that momentum and the market's just waiting it out. So I guess it's just part of trading. You just got to wait and watch and make an assessment. And when the price gets into the right position, that's when you can act. Yeah, $1, thank you. So yeah, because I've got 2 contracts in, I was wondering maybe it's 50 cents, like $1.50. Oh, because it's USD as well, so it does the conversion on top of it. I'm guessing. Oh no, this is in euro, and then it converts it into US after. So for me to get to what we've got, $15 already, for me to get to my $75 target for the day, we'd have to go to 24,409. So that's a fair distance away. Look, I'm thinking this is probably going to go. So I'm going to add a couple more contracts. So I'm going to max it out at 4. We've got 4 contracts in now. If we can really recover, we've filled the extreme gap. It doesn't always fill the close gap, so we'll see how it plays out. And if I can get to my $75 target for the day, I might just put the limit order in. So we'll go change this quantity to 4 contracts. This looks like selling to me. It's not great. Maybe I should just because we've come back, we've rejected off the R1. Perhaps that's like a point people want to get in from to come down and fill this gap. But I've got 1,500 to play with, so we'll just hang in there. And I'm going to put so 61. I'm going to put a limit order up here. So $61. So if I can get to 24,394, that'll be my exit. It's really just based on the profit that I want rather than any sort of assessment. But it's not too far away at all. Sort of 20 points, 15 points. Anyway, guys, so I'm in long. What I do expect is, we could potentially come down and fill this close gap. And maybe even have a really good rejection off the breakout short in S1. But ultimately, the bias is long for the DAX, so that's why I've gotten in long. I kind of waited for a bit of a pullback, and particularly off that extreme gap is a really good point to say, right, maybe that's all the selling out of the way. Just remembering that we could continue to come down further, so just be careful. That's it from me today, guys. Best of luck with your trading. I don't think we're going to see anything anytime too soon in terms of the volume. So we've covered the early part of the session, and hopefully that's enough to give you guys a good start to the day. Best of luck with your trading, and we'll see you again tomorrow.